231 days. 6. Feb. 65. My dearest Suzie, I received that nice, long, 6-page letter from you today and was real happy to get it. I have not given up the idea of going to Bangkok completely. I may go sometime before I come home, but I kinda doubt it. It is true that it would be a nice break, but I would be so upset over the money it would cost me and the things I could buy with that money that I wouldn't enjoy the trip. I wouldn't really enjoy it anyway without you. That is why I'm letting Lewis get a sapphire for you. I trust his judgment, and this way you'll have one in case I don't go. While I'm on the subject of the ring, I don't know how much it will cost, but as soon as Lewis gets back and I pay him for it, I will send you some money. I don't know how much I can send, but you can expect something about the middle of the month. Also, I went and sent that camera off for repair, and I don't know what it will cost me. I'm sure I overdid it this month. I should have realized that you would need extra money, especially now. If you run into a bind this month, though, put something off till the 1st of March. I will send you my extra check for sure then. It should be $75. And listen, don't be upset about not saving anything. If you're getting by without our bonds, and I think you are doing fine. I told you before that all I want you to do is live till I get back. Remember that it costs a lot extra living apart like this. And you are keeping up our bills. That is the important thing. Don't worry about that moving charge. If you ever get it, it shouldn't be over $40 anyway. And you will have 90 days to pay it. So let's worry about it when and if we get it. Besides, I'll get it myself when it comes. So you just relax and go on the next 7 months like you have the last 5. You are doing fine. You never did tell me what you want to do about going to Hawaii. Let me know so I will know how to plan. And whatever you say is fine with me. As far as the officer club, why don't you go out to McCoy and find out what I need to do to get you a membership? If they have any forms, just get them and send them to me. You may not need anything. I might have given you the wrong impression about the chow here. Things are bad, but we manage. I haven't really lost any weight. Did Jimmy come home this month? How are my folks getting along? They don't write much, or often. And that's where the letter ends. The next page of this letter was likely lost. If you haven't listened to the past few episodes yet, you'll likely be a bit lost for the rest of today's episode. Long story short, I've split up a piece of my writing, and I'm presenting it across a few episodes. I recommend going back and listening to the earlier parts. Anyway, here's Finding My Grief, Part 6. Do you think he changed as a father after he got back from Vietnam? Absolutely, replied Mimo. He didn't drink as much and wasn't as willing to hit the boys. He disciplined them, sure, but nothing like when he got back. It's a wonder my dad got by as unscathed as he seemed to have. Well, by the time Bruce came around, Pop was fishing a lot and wasn't really around much, so I mostly raised him myself. Your dad was the only one born after Pop was over in Vietnam, and I think Pop was just tired after that. I don't know. It was a long but happy 55 years. Please don't forget just how close we all were when Poppy and I were living off of Redfern. Your uncle and his family might have been living in California, but everyone else got to visit often, and we had so many wonderful times together. Poppy was happy to be around everybody, and really loved you all. After this particular conversation, I asked her to look at pictures with me and just talk about them. First, we looked through her many photo albums which sat perpetually on her coffee table in the den, typically used as conversation starters for visitors. We came across photos of the trailer when they first moved up, before all the work was done to it. The elephant joke about Poppy quickly rang in my head. Why did you guys move up here in the first place, if we had such a great time in Orlando? Why leave? Because, she replied. He didn't want anyone to see him weak. He loved you kids. He didn't want to leave you, but he couldn't stand the thought of you seeing him struggle, and when he started to get really sick, he was determined to leave so you didn't see him that way. He was always really harsh on himself, saying he was good for nothing or useless. I always had to tell him he wasn't. He'd just get down on himself sometimes and talk about himself like he was worthless. I almost refused to go. I didn't even pack any of my stuff up until the morning your uncle came to load up the moving truck with our stuff. I realized I couldn't change his mind. Her response left me speechless. Do you think his time as a soldier had anything to do with him being like that? Of course, she replied. He wanted everyone to think he was big and strong and put together. That's how officers always had to be. He didn't fool anyone, though. Even before he got sick, he was 6 feet tall and only 120 pounds. He was the only man I've ever heard of that was too skinny for the military uniform after he got out. So why is there the elephant joke? It was easier for him to say that than tell people he was scared. Next, we started walking through the trailer until we got to Popi's old bedroom. I saw all of his stuff still sitting on the nightstand and the pictures of his parents still hanging on the walls. His wallet was still tucked away where he last left it, almost 10 years before. At the foot of the bed sat Meemaw's slippers. I never asked her why she slept in that room. I always told myself she was sleeping there for some grand romantic purpose, perhaps to make up for all the nights they couldn't sleep in the same bed due to his nightmares, trying to get back something that was taken from her long ago. Or maybe just to feel close to him again, to feel the faded outline of his body in the springs. "Why do you sleep here?" I asked hesitantly, expecting a beautiful answer, an explanation like one of the ones in my head. "Because I'm an old lady and I live alone in the middle of nowhere, and this room is closest to the front door. If someone tries to break in, I want to be so close I can hear them and call the police." My grandiose ideas were shattered, knocked away by the sheer force of practicality. "Besides," she added, "I've heard that a lot of wives in a lot of different cultures sleep in their husbands' old beds. I guess I'm just doing what all women do." Her answers slightly restored my intrigue and suppositions. The photo I chose for today is from Hawaii. Popi mentions a possible trip there once again, so I figured I'd include one of the photos he took when he stopped over there. It depicts a car speeding along the road, passing a storefront for Japanese Airlines, Dairy Queen, a footwear store, a jewelry store, and some business called Lindora at Waikiki. That is how I am confident in stating that this photo is from Hawaii. Meemaw will correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure they don't actually take the trip to Hawaii together that they talk about. I'm Alex Lowy, and I hope you have enjoyed listening to this episode of Dearest Suzie, and receiving messages from the past that my Popi wrote exactly 60 years ago. I sincerely appreciate your time and interest. Please consider following the podcast on your preferred platform, and if you're enjoying it, I kindly ask that you take the time to rate the show and leave a review. Also, please follow the project on YouTube, X, and Instagram. All likes, comments, shares, and reviews will help grow the reach of this story. The links for these things should be in the description of this episode. Please feel free to email me at dearestsuziepodcast@gmail.com if you have anything you'd like to say. I'd love to chat or to hear about your stories as well. Thank you for listening, and God bless.